Hey, Woody, I worked through high school and for many years at the old Rax restaurants. Do you remember Rax, Woody?
I absolutely do. They were kind of like the thing before Arby's, right?
Oh, it was great. It was out on West Broad Street. I loved it. It was a great job. I love the people I worked with. One of the things I did is I closed at the end of the night. You know, fast food restaurants, you're all about cleaning up your restaurants. Well, one of the things we had to do is we had to drain the fryers of the hot oil, and two of us, because we put it in this big tub, would carry it out back and dump it into these 55-gallon drums.
Right.
And it would sit there until a provider came and emptied it. Well, one night, being the kid that I am, I was inquisitive. Me and a buddy, I said, I wonder what happens if we can cool this hot oil down before we dump it. He said, what are you thinking? I said, let's put some ice in there. So we had this big vat of hot oil we had used to fry French fries all day. Took a bunch of ice, put it inside of that. We were outside by the dumpster, and the thing bubbled like a big volcano all over the parking lot. Yes. At that point, I'm like, okay, how do I cover up the scene of the crime? So me and a buddy started scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing, and we scrubbed for 2 hours and did the best we could. The next day I walked into work, and the manager said, I asked around because the parking lot's a mess, and the story kept coming back to you. That was stupid. Get your butt out there, and you're going to get on your hands and knees and scrub that parking lot. That was my first job, Woody, and I never did that again, by the way.
My very first job was paper carrier when I was a 5th and 6th grader, and rode my bike all across town from one end to the other, got off my bike and dropped the paper in between the outside door and the inside door. And I had like 50 to 60 daily papers and about 80 on Sunday.
Oh, those Sunday papers are fat. Bet they were heavy, huh?
Well, that's the only day of the week I got to ride. Mom or Dad would take me in the car. And the paper was so big that I sat in the back and inserted the comics section into the rest of the paper. Small town, and I knew my route so well. They'd drop me off, and I'd deliver about 3 or 4 papers and get back in the car, and we'd go on to the next group.
I think Paper Boy, Paper Girl, that might have been, in our era, that might have been a lot of people's first jobs.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. I mean, that was back in the day before computers and stuff, so news on television or the paper was about the only way you had to really get news. Yeah, I had to get up at 5:30 every day of the week. That really instilled a work ethic that stayed with me, and I mean, I'm still a guy that gets up early in the morning.
Hey, Woody, the first job I had was cleaning the grade school.
Like, you mean the trash cans or the floors or the bathrooms or what?
Everything. During summer break, I went through a work program, and I had to clean the desks, the floors, the bathrooms, everything.
Tell you what, man, those elementary school kids, and I speak for myself, they're a bunch of dirty little urchins, aren't they?
Yes, they were. Bubble gum all over the bottom of the desk.
And, of course, we couldn't have bubble gum at the time, so that made it even better.
Yeah, this was back in the 70s, like 77 through 80. I did it for 3 summers.
How much did you make an hour?
$1.95 per hour,
wow.
I think. I know I still have my very first paycheck.
The Grandview City Swimming Pool.
Ooh, that was big stuff back in the day, wasn't it?
That was in the 80s. $2.50 an hour. And all the bikinis I could watch.
You probably would have done it for half that.
I'd have probably done it for free.
I was going to tell you my first job that I ever had.
Please.
I grew up in Obetz, Ohio, and we did not have an Arby's most of my life on Allen Creek Drive right there. And they built a brand new one, and that was my first job. At 16 years old, I went in there, and I was one of the only employees that got to unload the first truck. That Arby's still stands today.
Tell me, Sean, what did you pull per hour back then, and what year was it?
That would have been in 1998, and I think, if I remember right, it was $4 change an hour.
Oh, my God. This will bring back memories for you right there. Bonanza.
Oh, yeah. What happened to Bonanza?
And then switched over to Pondo. Ponderosa. That was my first job, and I worked there 13 years.
Ooh.
And I think it happened probably about my 3rd or 4th year there. They said, of course, they had a big meeting with all of us, and they said, oh, nothing will change.
That's a guarantee. Everything's going to change.
Yep. Yeah, started out at $3.15 an hour, I believe.
Well, the very first job, I was 15 years old, and I was only working on the weekends insulating houses, learning how to do batting, and then also the hose. And I used the hose to blow the insulation from the truck into the attic. And during the summertime, it was very hot and miserable.
I just wanted to let you know what my first job was.
Yes, please.
13 years old, and it was at a little restaurant in Canal Winchester called the Wigwam.
It's still around, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still there. I started out as a dishwasher there, and then I moved up to a waitress when I was 14.
So you started making bank.
Yeah.
So do you remember how much you made an hour?
I made $1 an hour.
Oh, my God.
I think as a dishwasher, I made $1.50 or $1.75, but then when I went to a waitress, I made $1 an hour plus my tip.
It was after my freshman year of college, and my dad got me a job with I'm from Ashtabula, Ohio, with the county engineer department. So I go there, right? The guy asked me to hammer nails into a wood block. Okay, well, I did that. You got the job. But I had no idea what the job was. We had to rehab a bridge outside of Ashtabula, out in the county. But to do this bridge, Woody, it was laying rebar. We're digging ditches.
Oh.
I mean, this was like real work from like 8 a.m. to 6.
10-hour days hammering and laying rebar in the summer heat.
In the summer heat in Ashtabula, Ohio. And then I had to go to summer school, college. I was so happy to go to summer school. You have no idea.
That's probably why your dad got that arranged for you.
You're absolutely right.
My first job, we had to detassel corn.
Oh, I did that. Roguing and detasseling. I did that in the mid-'70s.
Yep. And Mom thought it was a good idea that we plant a half acre of pickles. And we picked pickles every morning and every evening. And the pickles the size of your little finger brought like $9 a bushel.
Wait a minute. Pickles are made from cucumbers.
Yeah. Oh, cucumbers. I'm sorry. Cucumbers. Yeah. God, I hated that job.
Auction business, my family's auction business.
You couldn't have been an auctioneer as a teenager.
No, sir. I was a ring man.
What's a ring man do?
He holds up the goods, if it's antique coins, I'm walking around, show people. If it's,
Okay.
If it's a sofa, I throw it on my shoulder and hold it up in the air.
So you didn't have to wear a sash like a boxing ring gal?
Fortunately not. But we're still going strong in Grove City.
What's the name of your family's company?
Sharp's Grove City Auction Gallery.
Aside from babysitting and a paper route on the east side of Cleveland, Ponderosa Steakhouse, that was 99-cent steak special. I made $1.90 an hour. Wow. So fun times with the big sign in the restaurant saying no tipping.
When I was 11 years old, I started working, believe it or not, for the manager of Girl Wrestlers.
Of what?
The manager of Girl Wrestlers. That was way back, Woody.
Girl Wrestlers?
Yeah, lady wrestlers, yeah. Yep.
How could you manage a lady wrestler at age 11?
Well, I babysat for him, and I cleaned his offices, and I made 50 cents an hour.
Wow. Did they ever let you in the ring to wrestle?
No.